an excerpt of something that it just hit me pretty hard. Because again, this to me sounds more like David walking through, and by the way, you can get this off the internet, I got the whole speech right here. Like David standing out, and I don't know if you hear a spirit of David or not. Now, by the way, I don't know if you know this or not, but apparently there's an election going on in Israel, and I am going to share something with you on this that kind of aggravated me a little bit, that our own people from the United States were over there trying to get Netanyahu not elected. I'm telling you, we need to pray. Let me tell you, my message today is we need to pray for this nation, and we need to pray for this country. Because, listen, ignorance is one thing, but when you don't listen, that was what got Israel in trouble, folks. They didn't listen. The prophets came, they didn't listen. And when you don't have a heart to receive, you see, all this stuff looks like nonsense to you. All of this looks like nonsense to you. You can talk to them till you're blue in the face. But if they don't have a heart to receive, and even Christ said that. He says, if you throw your seeds into the thorns, you know, you're wasting your seed, so to speak. And that's exactly right. There's going to be some people that just don't want to receive it. Here is what he said. He said, my friend, standing up to Iran is not easy. Standing up to a dark and murderous regime never is. With us today is Holocaust survivor and Nobel Prize winner Elsie Wiesel. Ellie, your life and work inspires to give meaning to the words never again. And I wish I could promise you, Ellie, that the lessons of history have been learned. I can only urge the leaders of the world not to repeat the mistakes of the past. Ecclesiastes, where there's nothing new under the sun. Not to sacrifice the future for the present, not to ignore aggression in the hopes of gaining an illusionary peace. But I can guarantee you this. Listen carefully. The days when the Jewish people remained passive in the face of genocidal enemies, those days are over. We are no longer scattered among the nations, powerless to defend ourselves. We restored our sovereignty in our ancient home, and the soldiers who defend our home have boundless courage. For the first time in 100 generations, we, the Jewish people, can defend ourselves. This is why, as a Prime Minister of Israel, I can promise you one more thing. Even if Israel has to stand alone, Israel will stand. He went on to say that Israel doesn't stand alone right now, that the United States stands with her, and we do. But folks, I don't know about you, but there was, to me, that was a person from Israel speaking some very strong words. My mom asked me last week, she said, why did you get away preaching the 10 toes? I said, because I'll get back to it. And as I thought about it this week, I started hitting me because we're living in the 10 toes right now. Why are we living it? Now, like I said, where's all your historical, documented, biblical evidence of this? Folks, I'm just speaking my heart today. We're living in the 10 toes. You see the foot of the statue that Nebuchadnezzar saw had 2 feet and 10 toes. We're living those 10 toes. If you believe that those 10 toes, and I'm just saying this is my opinion, are the 10 tribes of Israel that were cast out by God, then this would make sense to you, what I'm about to say. They were scattered among all the nations. But however, everywhere they went, they were blessed by God. I'm going to say that again. Everywhere they went, they were blessed by God. So much so that everywhere they are, that nation is blessed.
Yes.
So you see, let's say these 10 tribes go off into the heathen lands. By the way, everywhere they went, they kept their customs. Even today that is so. There are synagogues around this area, and if you go in there, they still keep their customs. They still live a certain way. We all know this. I have a very close friend that when prayers are said in Jesus' name, she will go up and say, you know, I don't agree with that, because she's Orthodox Jew. They still believe in their customs and in their ways. And even though they are Americans and they live in this country and they work with us, they are still Orthodox Jews that live and are scattered throughout the world. So here's why those 10 toes are the foundation of the statue. It's because those 10 tribes are the foundation of the Gentile nations. Uh-oh. Because here's the part you need to understand. When God gave the vision to Nebuchadnezzar, what did he say to him? He said, you, O Nebuchadnezzar, are the head of gold. That always bugged me. When you build something, you always start from the foundation. Why did he start from the top and work his way down? Because once again, if those 10 toes are the 10 tribes of Israel, you see, they were already scattered. They were already, well, we know they were. How do we know they were? Because Babylon took Judah captive, did it not? So that means the other 10 tribes were already scattered throughout the world, you see? I'm teaching a little bit right now. They were taken by the Assyrians. They went up, and then people lost track. They didn't lose track. I read to you what Peter wrote as he wrote his letters to all those lost, supposedly lost tribes. They weren't lost. Peter knew where they were. He wrote his letter in the Bible. I'm writing to everyone. So they